History records the constant process of changing the world. And in the last century, what the world thought of as impossible has repeatedly become reality in a way of life. And more times than not, it's been taken for granted. In my lifetime, I've seen the world change dramatically. In the past 5 years, there's been more world-changing advances created than there were in the last 1,000 years before that. You know, think about the last century. Edison and the electric light bulb lighting the world and then giving rise to electric power generation everywhere. To an affordable automobile in every household, giving rise to roads and gas stations. The telegraph, to telephones, to cell phones, to smartphones in every hand. Computers more powerful than mainframes in every house. Global connection in real time over the internet and web. And all the knowledge in the world at our fingertips with Google. And everyone being connected through social media and more powerful than traditional TV and news. And with online shopping disrupting and replacing brick and mortar. At the time of conception and birth, they all seem like science fiction and from outer space. You know, my motto has always been dream and think big, as you'll never be bigger than your thoughts and dreams. And I've always been a dreamer and a visionary with forward-looking thinking that is often before its time and way out there. I see what is possible when others see it as impossible. And my thinking in life mission really reflects the words of George Bernard Shaw. There are those that look at things the way they are and ask why. And I dream of things that never were and ask why not. Now, whether it be reinventing direct sales with binary marketing and the MPCP, or the steps along the way in its evolution, such as requirements, BV and IBV, the GMTSS, people thought I was crazy. I was viewed as way out there. You know, most UFOs and the world think that I am crazy. Or maybe I'm from outer space. At least that's what they think at first. And it's not until it's done and realized as a way of life do they accept it as great. The response I get is, oh, here he goes again. He's lost his mind and has gone out into orbit. Come on, down to earth, JR. You know, it's really the way one thinks that it's truly space age or from outer space. You see, we're what some would call a disruptor. Now, a disruptor is a company or a person that changes the traditional way an industry operates, especially in a very effective and better way. Certainly, that was the case when we created the binary system and the MPCP, creating a new paradigm never possible before. Its power and the benefits of the revolutionary tracking system have yet to be fully recognized or utilized. And now the shopping annuity is a culmination of that, and the concept allows us and average people to create our own economy. You know, when I was growing up, there was a cliche often used that you have about as much chance of doing that as putting a man on the moon. You know, the world has always been fascinated with space, and it stretched the imagination. As unreasonable as it was, the cliche reflected it that that's from outer space. Yet it was done giving way to a whole new world. You know, NASA scientists in the process of going to the moon pioneered more than 6,300 technologies during their bid to understand space that are now routinely used in day-to-day life. A few of which include integrated circuitry and the computer microchip and high-resolution digital satellite TV, the CAT scanner, and the joystick. It's more interesting that the real benefits of these accomplishments were not realized by the generation which it occurred, but by the next generation and those to come. Now, I recognize that the same may be true for the shopping annuity, as the next generation will reap the benefits as it becomes a way of life, and they leverage the possibilities of being able to create their own economy and sub-economies. You know, in 1984, I was enamored by envisioning and testing computerized marketing before the internet, and with the thought in mind that there was a better way. And people laughed at me. They thought I was crazy. The notion that people hate to be sold but love to buy was undeniable, and a technology allowing for that would be a paradigm-shifting and world-changing event. If it were not plausible, it would be passed off as frivolous fantasy. But the concept of digital aggregation screamed that it was logical and possible, like going to the moon. To me, it was simple. If you knew what everybody wanted to buy, you could identify the commonalities and find or make the product, add value to it at a better price, eliminate inventory, advertising, logistics, and provide it to each individual that wanted it, while treating each individual differently, where they could buy whatever they wanted differently as well. 3 decades have passed, and the technologies and systems are in my hands to make that a reality today. The genesis of Market America is a simple thought that we became possessed by, and that which transforms into possible world-changing concepts. There were many reasons motivating the goal of going to outer space and to the moon for America and President Kennedy that are unimportant in hindsight, but it was not solely to go to the moon for the sake of it. On May 25th, 1961, President John F. Kennedy came from outer space and, at the risk of unparalleled global embarrassment, proclaimed in his speech before a joint session of Congress that in this decade, we will put a man on the moon. Simply preposterous and crazy. But it was not without reason and logic. He consulted with and hired the greatest scientist of the time, Wernher von Braun, who he asked if it was possible to put a man on the moon and what it would take to do it. His answer was yes, it was possible. And 5 words as to what it took: the will to do it.
Roger, we'll stop Discovery. Welcome back. A great ending to the new beginning.
Our thinking and model are indeed revolutionary and out there in outer space. But it's an idea whose time has come. And we are bringing from outer space to Earth to change the world. The next generation will make it a way of life, and again will probably be taken for granted. The residual income from spending and shopping for average people will be a way of life and our legacy as we create our own economies and change the world. We are bringing it from outer space to Earth right now. The shopping annuity has landed.
Down a half. 6 forward. 60 seconds. Lights on. Forward. Forward. Remain down 2.5. Pick up the dust. Straight down. 1 forward. 30 seconds forward. Okay, engine stop. Has landed. Believe me. Believe me. Believe me.
We did it!
Believe me.
We landed. The shopping annuity has landed. And the next generation, push the button.
You're looking great. Control to the shopping annuity capsule. Prepare for touchdown. Initiating phase 2 of the shopping annuity. Houston, the shopping annuity base here. Phase 2 of the shopping annuity has landed.
Houston, shopping annuity base here. Phase 2 of the shopping annuity has landed.
Wow. The shopping annuity has landed. Are you with us? Have you landed with us?
Come with us. Are you on the ground with us? You ready to start running? I
Do
love
you
that.
believe? I know it's unbelievable, but it really works now.
It really works. And you know what, JR? I don't think there's any chickens left in this audience. No chickens, right?
No chickens. You know what? On this day, you have a choice. You have a choice to determine whether you're a chicken or a goose. If you're a goose, lay the golden egg and do what with that new person what we taught you yesterday. And you will take off in that procession and change the egg's life and your own life.
We have a situation here.
What?
The egg is hatching. No.
So, there's my golden egg. My golden egg.
Look at that.
Come on.
Jay, I got to get the photo, baby. You got to move to the side. Let me get the photo. Got to get that photo. There's the golden egg, JR. The golden little
Imprint.
goose. I love him. Let's give it up for Andrew, guys. Come on.
It'd be a goose.
Golden geese. That's amazing. With us. We're going to go backstage real quick.
Okay.
Don't leave. We have something happening.
So I climbed up and grabbed the wheelbarrow and started to cross ever so carefully. It would take too much time here to now explain the correct method of doing this in order to succeed. But it isn't simple, and you actually have to walk the rope with the arches of your feet, and you're kind of back bending and squeezing in your core. The Niagara Falls view
of turbulent water below and behind are simulated with actual footage over the falls, and it looks totally real. A very important technique in doing this is that you have to keep your vision line keenly focused on an object at the other end of the tightrope and never take your laser stare or focus off of it until you reach the other side. So I got out there in front of everyone to prove belief by action and really didn't know 100% that I would make it, but I knew that I could do it. Well, 3/4 of the way across, the worst thing that could happen occurred. I took my eye off the focus object when the audience started chanting my name, just for a split second, and that caused a wobble, and the wheelbarrow popped off the tightrope, and some bricks fell out, and it looked like a disaster. That was the worst thing that could possibly happen. Well, the pain of the thought of failure was so great that I had to get the wheelbarrow back up, and I said, God, help me. Now, I have to say that Pastor Rich's prayer was probably answered there, and I guess it's divine providence to prove that the shopping annuity was destined for success and that belief prevailed. Now, I could have easily given up, and it would have been a disappointment and a failure. But I would have been devastated and humiliated. But the pain of the thought of failure was so great that every last fiber and cell in my body came together in a clutch and an all-out effort to recover, and it was a magic moment, and it worked. I was so relieved when I reached the other side.
Did I do it? Do you believe I can do it again?
Then, of course, I completed the metaphor by asking you if you thought we could do it again. And if you were in the wheelbarrow with me, first you all screamed out yes. And then Elizabeth Weber symbolically got in the wheelbarrow, who actually did it in real life with the shopping annuity. And that was demonstrating belief in action. Someone asked me after the close, it was all over, a surprise question. They asked me, what would I have done, or how would I have finished, or how would I modify the story after not making it, to explain it and to make sense out of it? Well, the honest to God answer is that I never considered it because it wasn't an option. I never thought of it. But now that I think about it after the fact, I would have made you stay for 15 minutes and climbed back up and would have gone across again without falling and crossed the fall successfully. That's the answer. Never, never, never give up. Failure is not an option. So that demonstrates belief in the shopping annuity, in unfranchised, and in the why, and the magic that it results in.
Okay, you just took me in a capsule so I could get into your brain. As I travel to the brain, you will be able to watch and listen remotely from your seat by video transmission. Let me explain how things work as I make this journey to the brain. To help simplify the complex process of how and why the programming of the human brain affects us as much as it does, let's take a quick look into the brain's central control room. So here I am in the control center of the brain. I'm actually in the brain that you see on stage. You can hear and see that there's a lot going on here. Notice the web of bundles of nerve cords leading from one part of the brain to another and out to the central nervous system. This virtually is the wiring to and from the brain. And notice the thousands of signals and commands firing all at the same time, sending directions and commands to the different parts of the brain and nervous system and body. It's really like the central processing unit of the brain computer. And look at the wall of thousands of switches that are controlled by the programming input into the brain from what we accept from others, what we hear, what we feel, what we see, experience, think, and most importantly, say to ourselves. Now I'm going to go in and actually do some programming of the brain. This is exactly what happened to Betty Weber and caused her to become who she is today, the international field president, successful $1 million per year earner, Elizabeth Weber. First, it begins with a realization, an insight, an idea or thought that you get or accept. A billionth of a volt snaps across your cerebral cortex when you make up your mind. That's all it takes to change your identity and begin programming your mind. You see, what you put in front of your eyes and what you listen to and accept from others and what you experience and feel programs your brain. You see, that programmed hope, and it programmed a positive attitude, an I can attitude. And because of that programming, it programmed the brain to overcome her fears. So, it shut off her fears, it programmed the right attitude, and it caused her to have the hope necessary to build the business. I told Elizabeth that she could be the first to earn $2,100 per week. And if she did that, it would take less time to earn $6,300 per week because it was half done and the MPCP compounds. Well, she accepted it and believed it. And what's more important is what she told herself. When people asked how she knew it was a proven plan, she said, I'm going to prove it. Then she got her people saying, we're going to prove it. We're going to make it happen. Now, I would get Elizabeth seeing herself as a director, then as a field vice president, then as an executive field vice president, senior field vice president, international field president. We would figure out exactly what she had to do to get there so that her brain could logically see how it would happen and accept it. So we programmed logic, and the logic made her brain understand how it was going to happen. Then Elizabeth began to think like a success. She refused to think negatively. She chose to think like a success, like a director or a field vice president. Of course, I helped her by feeding her mind and encouraging her, but she was open to it and stayed in close contact with me all the time. Thinking is like the keyboard to the brain computer. The more she thought like a field vice president, the more she became like one, and the stronger the programming until she was one mentally. That caused her to act. And she overcame fear by taking action. So her brain was actually programmed to make her act. But most important, throughout it all, she talked to herself, which is the most powerful form of programming. She would say, I am the best. I will prove that it works, and I will set the pace. She would say to herself, it's the greatest opportunity for the average person. And over again, she would say, Market America is the greatest company. I am the top UFO and distributor. I believe in my people. They are the best and I empower them. I can do anything I want to do. I am the proof. I am earning $1 million per year. I will change the industry by setting the example for others to follow. I am free. This is powerful programming. And her thinking made her dreams manifest into reality because she demonstrated success all the time. So her brain was actually programmed to make her dreams come true. But there wasn't a day that she didn't talk to herself. When someone said something or she thought something for a second that didn't support her dream and identity, she would turn it around and restate it into positive to herself as if it were done. She responded with strength rather than weakness as a leader. So she was actually programmed to be responsive to her people and to respond to situations. She became a creative problem solver as well as a creative duplicator. She actually helped create the unfranchised system because she was programmed to create and draw upon higher powers in herself. So she was actually programmed, her brain was programmed for creativity and to solve problems. It was nearly effortless after that, after a while, because she programmed herself to be a hopeless success, and as a result, she became an international field president because she programmed her brain to be one, and the rest just happened. She was also programmed to be the spirit of Market America. Her brain actually caused her to be the spirit of this business. Ladies and gentlemen, she wasn't always like that. She was just like you. Let me leave the Brain Control Center now and show you exactly how to program your brain. But look what programming Betty's brain did. It resulted in the successful $1 million per year earner, international field president, Elizabeth Weber.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage our founder, chairman, and chief executive officer and mission commander of the Shopping Annuity, ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Reidinger.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Reidinger.
Woo! Wow. Are you having fun? I pray that we go back and imprint like geese. Because if you do, when you come back next time, you're going to be at the next pen level, next income level, and within another year, we will fill this place with directors. Because that's how it works. I hope you believe that. You know, I've always been a dreamer, a visionary, and, you know, recently that's been the shopping annuity, and I've kind of beat it to death with you. So I hope that we can go back. We don't really need to beat it to death anymore because it's just going to work. And you're going to end up earning 2 checks. But you know, it was a shopping annuity now, before it was the MPCP. Nobody believed in it. They thought we were crazy. The unfranchised requirements, IBV, GMTSS, global unification, IRCs. Everybody looked at me and said, man, this guy has lost his mind. Well, you have to go out of your mind in order to succeed, you see. So I've been way out there, but people have thought that I'm crazy and in outer space. And many of you thought or think that the shopping annuity was way out there. It's going to be like Google. It's going to change the world, folks. It just makes too much sense. But you have to experience it, and we're getting close. You saw it. Are you beginning to feel it? Are you beginning to grasp it? And it's just going to get better and better and better until you have to be stupid not to do it. And it'll spread to everybody, because everybody shops, everybody spends, and everybody wants a nest egg, and they don't have any money to invest, so they can take their spent money and end up being like you. I mean, to me, it's just incredible. You know, when I was a kid, there used to be a saying. When we used to say, I'm going to do this, or I got a great idea, people would say, you got about as much chance of doing that as putting a man on the moon. And it's kind of like some of you, when I tell you about the shopping annuity or things we're doing, and say, what the hell is he talking about now? Here he goes again. Remember when John F. Kennedy announced in 1961 that in this decade we will put a man on the moon? People thought it was preposterous. They thought he was nuts. See, what is possible? What is possible is something that's logical that you believe in. Is unfranchised logical, and do you believe in it? Then it'll happen. You see what I mean? So, it was impossible, but the U.S. and NASA did it in 8 years. Well, think about that. We did it in 1969. Unbelievable, isn't it? That doesn't, like, wow you? But you know, it wasn't without logic, because he did consult the smartest scientists in the world to see if it was possible. So I don't put dreams out. I don't put ideas out. I don't put missions out that are illogical, that won't work. We know they'll work We just have to attract the right circumstances and get you on board. We have power, people power, to change the world. And we're going to do it. But you know, when he went to Werner Van Braun and asked him if it was possible, and he said, yes. He said, what does it take? Only 5 words. The will to do it. And so be it with us now, with the shopping annuity and with you being a goose and turning that thing into imprinting so that people know no other way than the way that works. And you will see your world change overnight. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. To see you earning checks, to see you telling the people that said it wouldn't work, look at this. Well, I tell you, man, that's my dream. That's my dream. The will to do it. So, you know, we're bringing the shopping annuity home from outer space. You know, Pam, 27 years ago, we brought the MPCP in from outer space. People thought we were from outer space. But look at it today, you see. So, in 1969, we landed a man on the moon and returned him safely. Some understate the significance of that accomplishment. Said it's not worth doing it. It costs a lot of money. But is that true? Integrated circuitry, microchips, GPS, 3,600 some inventions, and the digital age explosion that we're in now, including online shopping, all came out as a result of that. You see, we can change the world. We, in this room, can change the world with this concept. In the early years, every time I showed the plan at a UBP, we used to call them second looks back then, I would say the same thing. You know, if you want to be successful, find a paradigm-shifting trend and position yourself to lead the parade rather than getting in at the tail end of the parade. You remember that? I must have said it 10,000 times. But isn't it funny? Nobody believes that it works until you make it. Then they believe. It's funny how it is. It's funny how after a paradigm-shifting technology ideas or businesses work, they become a way of life. And we accept the miracle and the reality that was never before possible or granted. I mean, I like to use things like Google and the internet. I remember when they didn't exist. Okay? But when you think about that you have all the knowledge in the world at your fingertips, that is going to change the world. So now that it exists, everybody just takes it for granted. Well, the same thing will happen with the shopping annuity. Mark my word. Watch my lips. Remember it. Okay? And you're going to be part of it. You're an early adopter because you were one of the people who believed and did it or experienced it. You're going to get rich. It's going to be rough. So history speaks for itself, and I assume that you're here because you know what we are and believe in it. You believe in it? You believe in the MPCP, the unfranchised, and our business? Okay? So our mission is clear, and we're about to complete it. Metaphorically, bringing the shopping annuity to earth to become a way of life, okay? And metaphorically, getting you to be geese and not chicken. So NASA went to the moon and mastered space travel in 3 distinct steps. See, one of the things I'm going to try to do today is to get you, or I'm going to try to program your brain to make you into a hopeless success. And you may have been doing everything else right and trying, and maybe you were a chicken and not a geese, and we're going to change that. But maybe the thing that was missing is the thing that I discovered and experienced in my own life, and I'm so passionate about it, is that God gave you a $1 billion computer, and it's not programmed. You didn't program it. Mine got programmed, and all this stuff manifested. I'm no different, I'm just an average guy. Really, believe me. I mean, I am just as average as they get. No silver spoon, no special education. I'm just a little grunt. But I programmed my brain, you see. And, we're going to do what NASA did. When you have big goals and big dreams, they become realities when you break them down and figure out how to get there using your brain rather than gossiping and rather than being, doing Twitter wars or whatever. You program your brain and break it down and figure out how to do it, because then it becomes believable. And then it all goes into your subconscious, and I'm going to teach you. One part is we program the brain, which changes our behavior and gives us the motivation to work and do what's necessary. And we do what's necessary on this side. We see a lot of you think, what if the circumstances aren't right? What if I can't find the people? What if I have problems? What if I don't have the money? Isn't that always what happens? What if I do it all and I program my brain, but it just doesn't happen? Now, this is God's law. This is the law of the universe. Because on one side, you start doing what's necessary, but on the other side, because you're programming the brain, your vibration level, attracts the circumstances of people. And they come together and meet in the middle. And every single time it happens, oh, you don't believe me? I'll prove it to you. You are exactly where you are right now and have what you have because of the same law. And you have a choice. You have a choice to change it. I'm going to trick you into doing it. But at any rate, to get there, there was 3 stages to go to the moon. And first was Mercury, to orbit, and to go into orbit and practice it. And they did that in 1961 and 1968. It was mission number 1. So in the shopping annuity, mission number 1, and we're completing it now. We're ready to go into Gemini. It was Uberization and matching. Did you see it when Mark showed it? It's not done, but it's happening. It's going. It's all changing. They realized that people could not find the products that they needed in the assessment in the 50 million products, and we didn't have the products. We assumed they were there, and they would be easy to find. I was wrong. But you know how you build the business. You know how you succeed in life. You try it, you do it, and then you adjust. You saw it. You saw it. So we changed our focus to making it work by finding the products. And that's where you come in with digital aggregation. Any product in here, if we all vote, you don't all have to like that product and buy it, but out of 160,000 UFOs, if there's 5,000 that want this and 20,000 that want that, we can bring the price down on anything and bring the IBV up, just like Mark showed you. You believe in that? You believe in it yet? Okay. So we moved to direct deals with partners. Instead of just accepting what was online, we said, hey, we can get 10,000 people to buy this. JR will commit to 5,000 up front if you give us the right price, and 25 or 50% IBV. We're going to do that with everything if you participate. We're powerful. We have power. People power. Man, I mean, our collective buying power can bring prices down and give us a piece of the margin and break the monopoly that they've had on us, keeping us separate. Do you realize that this is as powerful as Google? Because everybody shops, everybody spends, and most people are broke. Oh, I'm fired up. So we're now driving this shopping annuity and the SAM on IBV, not spent money. Now, I know that you intellectually understand it, but wait till you experience it. You get people doing that in your group, and you're going to get an IBV check. And then it's over. I get you all earning IBV checks, it's over. Spike the IBV so you earn checks. So this is what has happened. It's happening right now, right as we sit here. Every week it'll get better. Every month it'll get more exciting. You know, and it's a reality now. It has landed. You saw it land. You know, we're matching products in your assessment, digital aggregation, and interactive polling is your part so that we have muscle together. Make sure your group votes. Make sure you vote, you know. So we're working from product in instead of searching and finding products that do not work because of the price and low IBV. Steve showed you a lot about how we're modifying the search to customize it for this. But if the product isn't there at the right price anyway, it's not going to accomplish the result. So we're making sure that we get the products that you need and use and want and get that price down. You see? They can't beat us. We're working from the product in, and digital aggregation is the key to that. I hope that you guys get that. And so what? Right now, the $1,000 that someone spends a month, and you can deny it, or, you know, I'm bringing in Forrester to do official research on this so that we know what the average spend is and how many products we have, and somebody else that's credible says it and not us. So we have greater credibility. You start questioning. But assume that you spend $1,000 a month on stuff other than the BV. Well, right now it's 100, so over 3 months, 300, right? And Mark already showed you that it was at 500 if you wanted to make it 500, you know? So it'll be 600 for the same 1,000. You get 300 now, okay, by next convention. My goal is 900. If I get to 750, you'll like me too. But that's not my goal. So that's what's going to happen, folks. So that brings us into Gemini, the next phase. Now, Gemini in the space program was the spacewalk, orbiting the moon, and docking to the space rover before we could land. You got to do things in stages. You see what we're doing? Okay? But we believe we're going to the moon. We know we're going to the moon. We know that we're going to that point where this spreads virally because it's working for you and your family. They can't help but tell other people about it. They don't have to get in a business and do all types of crazy things. They just already spending the money. Boy, that'll hit you on the way home. Shopping annuity and SAM is so simple to do with so many products, with 25 to 50% IBV, with super IBV, with food, with travel, with restaurants. We put products in your face from partners at work, and you don't have to spend time finding them. And what happens? Everyone earns checks. We spike the IBV and the MPCP, and it takes 1/4 of the people in the BV MPCP to hit checks. That's called success. Then we go into Apollo. We land a man on the moon and returned him from 1968 to 1970 something was the Apollo program. Okay, well, that's the shopping annuity. Oh, I forgot to tell you the other thing. The concierge program. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but fundamentally it acts like a one card, pseudo one card, where you have experts that help you narrow and find furniture, decorating, electronics, big screen TV, wardrobing, anything that requires taste, design, discretion, or is a big spend. Now, how would you like that? It notifies you, you're supposed to be moving next month. You want some help with your, decorating selections. And then you can become a concierge, and just like in our Market America University, you can earn money, preferably on your own group, for being a concierge and doing it, because we got to pay somebody to do it. Oh, that'll hit you on the way home. Think about that one. I got you now. Okay. So Apollo, we have the client program. I've always seen this as a financial vehicle, a financial services vehicle or product, where if I can prove that you save, $10,000 a year when you're shopping, and you'll make a residual income, because we'll give them a residual income. It'll be like the Shop Tracker program in Great Britain. It's not as big as you're making, and they'll probably figure it out. And it's just going to be a terrible result. They're going to end up wanting to be a UFO. You get that? Hey guys, I got this all figured out. I got it all figured out. Just go. Let's do it. Let's go to the moon. I want to congratulate Mark Ashley and the team for getting it. I don't have to bark anymore. Every single person is totally focused. They realize we don't want to be an Amazon. Not only is it probably not possible, but why do we need to try to be like an Amazon? That's not what we want to be. We want to be the first shopping annuity in the world. And change it. And change the world. Oh, people will try to copy us, I guarantee it. But we'll be way ahead of the crowd, just like Amazon is in their area. So why am I at peace and confident with all of this? I didn't realize that I had to make it work first for you to believe. I'm sorry. Well, now it is working, so I know you'll believe. I know it'll happen. It's been a battle. I've been pounding the gong for 5 years. What changed? Why did I keep pounding the gong? Listen to me now. Why I kept pounding the gong is that it is an idea whose time has come, and you cannot stop an idea whose time has come. My worst fear was somebody would do it before me. And it will work because we will make it work. Now, I don't need to harp on it anymore. Why? Because the team got it. And I got to hand it to Mark Ashley. I mean, he doesn't like the New England Patriots, but he's a Tom Brady when it comes to execution. He pounded that out and got the results. So let's thank Mark, and the team. Great job. So, hey, Mark, thank you, brother. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. But in the meantime, while all this happens, Elizabeth, you remember in the beginning when you had to add up your BV? This plan was not easy in the beginning. I'm telling you, it's the same type of thing with this. Overnight, it's going to become so powerful that you have to be stupid not to do it. You're losing out. It's not like Okay, so It can be as big as Google, social media, internet, cell phones. Each one of those things in the world did something revolutionary and using technology that changed the world because it was so beneficial, such a better way of doing things that you couldn't go back to the old way. That's what I'm doing. Do you believe in me? Okay, now, I just want to give you one piece of education. I'm going to get off of this and get working on your head for the, success. The reason that I am so adamant about this and that you should be able to explain to people, if you want to do what I was talking about yesterday, enlightening conversations, here's why we can do it. Number one, it takes a monetized network. You understand what that means? We have to have a group of people that are tied together economically, that have buying power, that are all connected rather than being separated. Nobody else has that. Do you understand it? Do you agree with that? We have that. Do we or do we not have that? So we're not just people out there. We are a monetized network with the most powerful, compensation plan ever created. 2, it takes a universal shopping cart. Now, a universal shopping cart is about as complicated as going to the moon. It's an Amazon. There's only a couple of them out there where you can sell anything, handle the merchants, the payment, collect the money, ship the product, know where it is, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It is so complicated that I can't explain it to you. We got one. We have one. We have it and nobody else does other than Amazon. 3, everything that people buy. Well, we have almost everything people buy, but that's not what's important because we want to get the best price when there's a lot of people that are going to buy. We're a product broker. We are experts at this. We already know what it costs. We know how to get the deal. We know everything. And if you give us a little muscle, watch out. Eddie and Marty are going to get everything that you want, not everything in the world that you don't want or that has shipping or, you get this? Assessment tool. This is really hard to do. So, nobody thinks that, they don't know where their money went. Isn't that true? How many people really know where their money went? So we have a tool that shows them and then identifies it and categorizes it so that they can match it up. But now we match it up for them. That's why they got to take it so that we know what they're buying so we can give them a better deal in IBV. You like that? But you understand, you can't do it without that. Well, the 4th thing is a financial vehicle or technology to convert that spending from taking a piece of the margin out, real money, into residual income, and that's the MPCP, right? We have those things. You could not do what I'm talking about without them. True or false? The 6th thing is a tracking system. People think we're multi-level. We're really not. I'm going to give a seminar on it. But we are a tracking system. Just like the movie example that tracks everybody that leads to everybody and what they buy. We know what vendor it came from and can get the money and pay the checks. Who else has that? Oh, there's other binary companies or whatever, but they don't have a tracking system. So, those are the 6 things. We have them, and nobody else in the world does. I'm not going to miss this opportunity. So let me ask you, real simple, where's the meter? Are we going to do this? Are we going to change the world? Are you going to do it? Are you behind me? Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? Are we going to get rich? Are you going to get BB checks? Are we going to make it happen? Woo! Okay, I'm convinced. Okay, so what I would like to do now is give you a wake-up call. It's wake-up call time. It's not going to be a brain spanking. It's going to be a wake-up call. Because you got to be awake and realize something and come to the point where you'll make a decision. A decision not to be a chicken, to be a goose. And start the goose procession. Take the chicken eggs that are out there and bring them in, Yardley, under a goose. You're a goose. A wake-up call to make you realize that you have a $1 billion computer that's being programmed by a bunch of idiots around you. And that's why you are where you are. You need to program it, and I'm going to help you program it. And when you program it, please listen to me, you will become a hopeless success. The same way you got into the position right now where you have a messed up life, you will have a successful life. Same mechanism. Oh. You know, my friends from when I was in high school and college, they think that I'm weird. They don't understand. They think that there's something, I guess they're jealous or they hate me or whatever. Even my brother hates me because I made it. But it's normal. But you know, the thing, I had a guy, I showed him the plan the first year. You know, and he gave me a lecture on why it wouldn't work, and I was stupid, and I had, you know, my degree and was getting my master's degree. I should be a great biologist, And it'll never work. Those things never work. You're wasting your time. So I saw him at a reunion, and he came up and he said, "Man, JR, he's got a PhD now." So he said, "You're so fortuitous." I had to go look it up. That means I was lucky. Look at you with your boats and your big company and inventions. I looked at you on Facebook and I said, he said, "You sure are lucky. I'm happy for you." Lucky, huh? Aren't you the same guy that I showed the plan to 27 years ago that told me I was crazy and it wouldn't work? You know, so I thought about it. I was like upset at first. I thought about it. I said, you know what? Maybe he's right. You know, he's right. I am lucky that I didn't listen to his ass. Yeah. But that's what you do. You know, you got anybody like that? Well, you get on this goose trip with me, you're going to come back and tell them the same thing. So what am I going to do tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, I want it so badly for you. I'm going to give you my very best shot at trying to transform your thinking to become a hopeless success. You got to roll in it, but I think I can push you off the edge. Yeah. I want to go through a process where you cannot fail. Let me change that. You have to try really hard to fail. Okay? Is that a deal? So bear with me. And now, if you can do it, if you can do what I showed you, this is the magic. And this is the thing that's been missing for you. Some of you have been trying. You haven't been a goose. You've been a chicken, but that's going to change. And you still got this little bit of doubt. What if it just doesn't happen? Isn't it funny how we're that way? Tell me that you don't have that in a part of your mind. You don't absolutely believe that what I'm going to do is going to cause you to become a hopeless success when I program your brain. Well, because it depends on circumstances. Circumstances, my ass. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. What do you want me to say? Circumstances, my gluteus maximus? I always get letters when I do that. At any rate, it will not depend on circumstances because you will have created the circumstances. You see, you can't stop it once it begins and gets momentum. It gets away from you. Just like your life got away from you in the wrong direction, or you went into the sea or plane of mediocrity, comfortably miserable. Right? Can you imagine that? The same thing that just happened to you over the last 20 years is going to happen again over the next 3 years, but differently. You're going to get lucky because you programmed your computer. Everything you got, listen, here's my final pitch. You got everything to gain and nothing to lose. And guess what? If you don't try it, you'll never know. You'll never know. So tonight I want to talk about why you're here and what you can do with your life. It really impresses me, amazes me that you are here. I mean, I could come back and nobody could show up. You're all volunteers. You don't have to be here. You spend a lot of money. There's something in you that's really special. Entrepreneurial spark, hope. Regardless of where you are, you have hope and other people don't. So, I cherish that. I value it. I protect it. So, everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die to get there. True? And you know what? Everybody dies, but not everyone lives. Now, we all know we're going to die, and time flies. When are you going to live? Are you going to put it off till tomorrow? Next year, next year, next year? Guys, life is fragile. It's precious. You were given a chance to be here. You don't want to leave without being able to say, I really lived, and I made an impact on the world. This is your chance. You can do it. A blink is a lifetime to us and a second to God. You don't want to leave this planet and have not even be noticed. So that's why I ask you to go to the graveyard. We don't do that much anymore. Lauren and I do it every once in a while. I actually went and said, let's go buy a gravestone and a plot and a casket. Order it. I tell you why, it's a morbid experience. It really, really bothers you. Because you're going to be in there for a long time, and you're going to be here a short time. You better make it count. Is this making any sense to you? This is a wake-up call, not a brain spanking. So you go to the graveyard, you know the story. There's 2 dates. 2 dates. A birth date, which you had nothing to do with. In fact, you protested coming in. And a death date. But right now, you have an open date. An open date. You see that? Once that second date's on there, it's too late. So that's your book of life. Would it be a bestseller, or would it be thrown in the trash? So when you die, you protest too. You're never ready to go, right? And everybody will end up there, and everybody will have a birth date and a death date
And in between every single stone in that place is a dash. You're going to be there. Everybody agree? We're all going to be there. I don't want to be the richest man in the graveyard. I want to be the man that helped the most people succeed and live. So that it counted. So the question is this, and some of you have heard it before many times, but have you really thought about it? Here's the question. What did you do with the dash? And for those of you that are here and alive, you don't have the second date. What are we going to do? I want to change the world. I'm not doing this for money, believe me. I was at one time. I was desperate too. Well, I don't know. When I first met Tom Holden, he told me a story of being up there in the nosebleed. He really, he struggled to get here. He didn't know what he was doing, and he kept doing dumb things. And he said, boy, that got me. That got me. What was I going to do with the dash? He said, I'm going to make it count. And I went back and I tore it up. I hope there's somebody in there that this touches that way. You see? But you see, here's the problem. The reason that you're not living the dash is your friends. I know what it is. They look at you and say, you ain't one of those things. I said, so are you. Mine works and yours doesn't. I have hope and you don't. You know? I don't. Well, yeah, but, isn't it like a pyramid and such? I don't know where you got that. First of all, a pyramid has 3 sides. This only has 2. You need to go back to geometry class before we even discuss it. But your job's a pyramid, the government's a pyramid, Social Security's a pyramid. In fact, Madoff learned it from Social Security. Send out fake statements, be broke, and collect the money. Okay. But your good friend Ralph, who keeps telling you things that you grew up with or you're drinking buddies with, and you had plenty of good times and great memories, and you're inseparable, and he really loves you, and you love him, good old Ralph. You can always count on Ralph. When you don't have any food, he'll bring you over a plate of salad and then come and ask for the plate back. You know Ralph, right? Everybody's got a Ralph. So your number gets called. You're so concerned about what Ralph thinks, he's impeded you from really tearing it up. And your number comes up. You're going to die tomorrow. Curtains, it's over. In the box for a long time. I laid in a coffin for an hour to see what it was like. I know my soul will be gone, so that's the only reprieve. But you're going to go. So let me ask you something. He's controlled your life. He's prevented you from really becoming what you could become. He programmed your billion-dollar computer for you. Now that it's time to die, will Ralph take your place? Huh? Tell me. Okay, so now listen to me really carefully, especially you new people that haven't heard this. Now that it's time to live, don't let him live for you either. You understand? Okay, so all we have is time. You can agree with me or not, but one thing you cannot agree with, you cannot make more than 24 hours a day. If you want to work the business really hard, okay, there's only so much that you can pack in.
If you don't work it at all, it doesn't matter. Because there's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month, 652 weeks a year, and you can do the business in 2 to 3 years. We don't know how long you'll have, right? That's part of the point. So we all have the same amount of time. Do you understand that? So it's a great equalizer. I don't have more than you, you know. Weber doesn't have more than Tom. We all have the same, right? So it's what we do with the time and how we spend the time. So I used to want to borrow money, and you know now they want to give it to me because they only give it to you when you have it in the bank already, right? Never could figure that out. But at any rate, I don't need to borrow money. I got plenty of money. But boy, I want to borrow time. Time. And when somebody steals my time, I get furious. It's so precious to me. Every day. I look at each day like, what if I wasn't around anymore? Am I doing what I want? I tell you what I want to do. I want to be with you in the field, holding the meetings, leading a goose procession. That's what I want to do. But my motto, you see, what we want to do, I think the greatest route to wealth is positively impacting other people's lives. Because most people, their whole life, no matter how wealthy they are, never even positively impact one life. So my motto is dream big as you'll never be bigger than your dreams. But never forget where you come from, because you might not be able to find your way back. So what does it take to change your life and to change you into a hopeless success? What does it take? What does it take? You're going to leave here. We all go back to our hometowns, and the problems start again, and, you know. Well, I hope that you go back and you're a goose and not a chicken, because that'll make a big difference. We'll start, right? But all we have is time. So when you go back and a week passes, that's a week gone. You know what I feel like when I lose a week? Or when there's a crisis in the company and I lose a year? I'm 5 years behind. I get over it, though. I love you all. Thank you for coming around and us all coming back together and getting back in love. You know, I appreciate that. But it's later than you think. It's later than you think. And if you're going to make it, why not make it earlier so you can have more years of fun? You know? Wake up. It's now. You're here. You're here tonight at the Crucible. It can change your life and other people's lives. Discovery. I hope you're here to find an answer. Or you're just sitting there on a chair because somebody got you to come. Or you acquiesced to the pressure. That girl, forget her name, sold her clothes to be here. That's somebody that wants to be here. Dream big as you'll never be bigger than your dreams. Guys, what's wrong with that? You know, it's all thinking. I dreamed so big, it was stupid. But it happened. I mean, and if you don't think it, it's impossible for it to happen. Do you think you're going to sit around the house and one day, presto, out of the sky drops a $500,000 a year income, a beautiful car, a new home, and happiness with your old lady? You think that's going to happen? Huh? Well, what I'm talking about has more chance of happening than what you're thinking about. So what does it take to change your life and to change you into a hopeless success? Okay? We can't lose any more time. Okay? Most people don't know what they want. Now listen to this. Most people in that brain, if you ask that brain, what do you want? It has syntax error. You remember syntax error? It doesn't register. They have to think about it. And it's really hard for them to think about it because they have programmed their brain to believe that it can't happen. And it's a lie. It's actually programmed not to get anything. Do you believe me? So most are living dead, running out the clock, no dreams, no purpose, no passion. They're in the rut, the hamster rut, no legacy, a boring book that no one would read. But my question is, do you want that? Do you want that situation? I'm asking you. Now, I know that some of you are in between, but you're still frustrated. That's why I say, let's have fun and do it one more time. Look where you got last time. Huh? We had a blast, didn't we? So one more time. You know what? It's like to double your income. It can make things easier. But many people, really die at 25. They just don't get buried until 75. Just sitting around, not programming the computer. Every day is this and that and whatever. And that's what happens. I'm telling you, wake up! Wake up! Okay. You're worried about what people think and your good friends? It probably won't even be at your funeral. Ha ha. So what's your reason to do this? Listen to this. What's your reason to do this? Because you probably haven't figured it out. You got in, you've been doing it for a while, you make some money, you don't make some money, whatever, but you're in. But why are you in? Mentally constipated. You know what I mean, right? You want to do it, but you just can't get it out. So I'm here to be your mental enema. Okay? So I want to have fun. And we have to do what I call the what if exercise. You got to be like a little kid that does, superheroes. You got to get out of it because your subconscious doesn't know what's real and what's not. And if you tell it enough times, it'll start to believe it. Well, it believes it anyway, but it'll start to affect the conscious and it'll start to affect what you do. And that's why you are mentally constipated. You've been so filled up with so much bull crap and negative that you don't even know. You're not thinking about it all. You try to suppress it, but it's in there. See, the subconscious is like a rheostat in a house. Somebody sets it at 70, okay? But somebody leaves the door open, it's hot out, and it goes off. That's like your subconscious. You don't have to think about it, it just does it. So this keeps happening for a week, and you consciously turn it down to 68. And you lock the door. It still subconsciously now takes care of it for you. But if it happened for a week and you had a good management system or a good wife or husband, and they noticed it, they might adjust it. That is projection of your belief from the subconscious into the system. Somebody else you attracted it. Somebody else did it for you. Do you understand that? And it happens all the time. So the first thing that we have to do is get a different frame of mind, a different mindset. Now, you're pretty good because you're here, so I don't want to be giving brain spankings to good people. Okay? But I want you to understand this. Okay, so I know that Lisa and Yardley know this from Tony Robbins and, You know, people that do something about what is affecting their state of mind are way ahead of those that don't. Does that make sense? And you have a choice about that. So if you want to be better, you want to do better, you have to make a choice and consciously do something about that, because you will start having your brain programmed to produce incredible things. A $6 billion brain. I mean, $1 billion brain. It's probably 6. It took 100 million years to make. There it is, unprogrammed, or somebody else is programming crap into it. And that's the result you're getting, both with your behavior and the attraction. Okay, so I call it PMAE. I had to give it a tag because there's too many things that it's called. Positive mental attitude with enlightenment. Positive mental attitude with enlightenment. You know, positive mental attitude. Inspiration, motivation, determination, confidence, desire, discipline, mind science, identity. All those things. So you can go to seminars, coaching, audios, videos, training. Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Covey, Wayne Dyer. The list goes on and on and on and on. Are you going to one? Yeah, you are, right here. We do the same thing. You get that? How important is personal growth and self-improvement? How important is enlightenment, mind science, belief programming, attitude, motivational? You know what? My kids, they're not my kids, they're my grandkids. We think that they're our kids because they live close to us and we love them so much. They're going to be great because I'm programming their computers. I don't know what they're going to be, but they're going to be great. Now, by the age of 7, unfortunately, from your environment, your computer has been programmed by parents, people around you, the environment that you're in, and you had nothing to really do with it. But it's like learning a language. You absorb it at 1 or 2, right? You have to study it at 12. True or false? I told Amber, I'll give you $100,000 if you get my grandkids to learn how to speak Mandarin. You know what? She's too rich. I would have done that in a heartbeat. When she hears this, I know I'm going to get scolded, but But the point is, by 7, if you have a programmed low self-esteem, you are behind the 8 ball, but you still have a choice. You need to do this. And you need to have a positive experience so that you accept the fact that it doesn't have to be that way. I really worry about some people that have had some rough times. They got to get in an environment or have a partner and get the business going, and it's hard to when you're in that position. How important is this? Take control of your thinking. The difference between me and you is one and only one thing: my thinking. The difference of you, Elizabeth, and many people in your organization or other people is your thinking. I know you're thinking. Isn't that true, Lauren? It's what one little thing changes your world. And if you won't think, you're doomed. Do you hear that? Does everybody hear that? So how much do you think about the things that will be a compass in your life to get you where you want to go? I look around, I observe all the time. Very few people are thinking about, I'm totally consumed all the time about where I'm going. And I love it. So you need PMAE. You can get it here, you can get it outside. You have to change your state of mind. Can you change your state of mind? Some of you got a pretty good state of mind. You want to elevate it? Huh? Okay, well, let's have some fun then. Listen, elevating your state of mind and getting pumped and getting motivated and starting to brainwash yourself to believe is fun. It's fun. You know? So, you know, you do this, and you might be able to get control of your life. Listen to this now. You get control of your life. 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 Become a hopeless success. Become a hopeless success. You learn and you are inspired. Okay? You get hyped up, ready, fired up, determined. Uh-oh. But now you have to find a vehicle or business to do all of this identity and programming and subconscious power that you have acquired. You have no outlet. Not you. See, I'm making a point. The people around you. And people go to these seminars, and the only problem that I have with them, and it's not a criticism at all, I go to take Tony Robbins stuff, steal it all the time, and take credit for it. Originality is concealing your source. So, I mean, you know, I'm not criticizing anybody. But the truth of the matter is, those people who took it upon themselves to program their mind, to develop a positive mental attitude with enlightenment, the poor people don't have a vehicle. They now have to go find one. Do you realize how hard that is? You realize how much it takes and how risky it is to find an enterprise, a business that'll work for you? Do you realize what a search that is? What a journey? You already got it. And you can put it up against anything else and it kills them. So you got both. Sitting there in that chair tonight, you have both. You can come here and I get you all jacked up and you're buzzing and vibrating positive energy out into the world and you're ready to work hard. And you don't have a vehicle. Here, you apply it immediately. This business will become a goose and lead the flock. You're going to start hitting checks and earning. I showed you exactly what to do yesterday. Exactly. You know. So what's your excuse now, you know? So remember, inspiration or information plus application equals transformation. So if we have the PMAE, we need a vehicle. You got it. Apply it to it immediately. You know, application of what? The vehicle, the business, the profession. Now, what are you going to do? Go back to school and be a doctor? Put 8 to 10 years in? Can you do that? We got a brain surgeon. He's a beautiful person. He was Lawrence Brain. We became very good friends. He's in the business. His dream is not to have to do 5 aneurysms a day and be controlled by saving people's lives. His dream, he makes 500 grand a year. That's not that much for the amount of work he does. I would have paid $1 million at least for hers. But the hospital can go, you know. I would have paid anything that it took. You guys get this? Am I making any sense to you? But, hey, I got the cookie. He's got the hard job. He's doing stuff that took 15 years of training. He's the best in the world. I can't imagine opening up somebody's brain, although I am a brain surgeon. You know, when I go on an airplane first class, there's this ceremony up there. You know, what do you do? What do you? Everybody introduces themselves. I tell them I'm a part-time brain surgeon. The guy says, part-time? Yeah, part-time. How would you like me to operate on your thinking? We got 2 hours. Pull out my little trusty flip chart. You know, what's he going to do? Jump off the tube? At any rate, application of what? What are you going to apply it to? Are you going to go raise capital and financing for real estate projects? Take 3 years, cash out, maybe make money. But now you have to start over again. I got residual income. Software IT entrepreneur, you realize how viciously competitive it is? Vicious. You might get into it, but I like to see you come out of the exit without being bruised. You can learn it or find geniuses to do it. Then they get stolen. Life is not that easy in the business world, folks. You have the most amazing thing ever created. So, you got the PMAE and you got the unfranchised. You know, and it's not a question of whether it'll work, it's a question of whether you'll work. It's not a question of having the capital or the money, because the size of your bank account doesn't matter. You'll never find an opportunity that is more relevant and requires less investment for more potential gain ever, anywhere. If there is one, please show it to me. Anybody want to volunteer? I'll make an appointment with you. Okay. And here's the kicker that can positively affect the lives of others. So do a reality check. You're talking about potential qualified prospects. First of all, they got to want more. They got to agree to a 2 to 3 year plan. Most people have no vehicle and are just a positive vibrator. They get PMAE. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. About what? I'm excited about being excited. Most people have no vehicle, no business model. True or false? They want to succeed. They actually went to PMAE. Most people have no revolutionary product or service or miraculous idea. So they're all pumped up and they are programming their brain for success. That's why they met you. They attracted you. Ha, 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 ha. It worked. You'll catch that on the way home. Are you the norm or the rare exception to have both? Are you the norm or the rare exception? Some people got PMAE, some people have a failing business, some people have a succeeding business, but it is a burden. So, if you've been in the business for a while and have not experienced tremendous success, I appreciate the fact that you're here. I hope you become a goose, but I want to program your brain because I want you to have success. Now, here's the bottom line. The thing that makes this so incredible is we have something that other businesses do not provide. And normally it's called residual income. It becomes a cliche and you don't value it, you don't understand how powerful it is, how important it is. Okay? It's reserved, well, residual income is when you put time in once to create something and you don't have to exchange time for money because the money keeps coming in once you establish it. Now the key is establishing it, but everything else you establish it and you still got to work. Or you sell it, you get a lump sum, and you know, eventually you got to go back to work. True or false? True. Okay, so it's reserved for the elite. It's not available to the average person, and you're not exchanging money for time. And you build something up and it continues coming in, like a movie actor getting royalties, an invention, okay, licensing rights, brand fees, parking lots. You have to have a lot of money to build parking lots, right? Real estate rental. Well, you know, there's headaches with that too, right? Elizabeth Weber don't give me much headache. That's my real estate project. Do you get what I'm trying to get across to you? So here's what you have, without a doubt. unequivocally, absolutely, you have a business model, economic model, that is at the top of the economic ladder in life. Unequaled. Period. It's the golden goose egg, you know. So, when you start making money, Rick, you know what I'm talking about here. You start to attract or get involved with other affluent people. Yeah. So I hang out with them. Some of them are really cool. And because I'm just a grunt. I come from the streets. People say, "How did you get Lauren?" I say, "It's thug love." You know. But here's my point. Like people like Hilfinger, Tommy Mottola, the Stouffer parking lot billionaire, the guy that does hotels, the guy that licenses the Ritz, a franchisor of a coffee chain. We get talking about our business models. And I said, the thing I love about my business model is residual income. So they talk about, Hilfinger says, I get it with licensing. Mottola says, I have the publishing rights, a lot of music. And the parking lot guy says, well, I have a lot of investment, a lot of overhead, but I don't have to park the cars or anything, so I get that. So everybody is telling their deal, right? And I say, you know what? I got you all. Because when you do that, you might get residual income, but you didn't create any residual income for somebody else. That's it. That's it, you see. So, that's how we create a residual income, by creating it for somebody else. And guess what? One of them got in. Oh, God, I love it. So look, you want to be a big shot and own a restaurant, own a hotel, own a manufacturing facility? Hey, good luck. Oh, I respect you. But you got all of those problems. All of those problems. Can I put that slide on one more time? I mean, the headaches of businesses. I can't even explain to you. Ask Mark. There is so many things that you get hit with every day. So many expenses. Everything comes back to hit you. You understand this? And there's 24 hours a day until you're in business for yourself. Then there's more, because you're never off. But you are. In this business, you have that freedom. And I want you to understand something. Our model is like a liquid. There's unlimited amount of it. And it will become whatever you are. You hear this? It'll fill that vessel up. If you're a teacup, if you're a huge 55-gallon drum, there's enough of it to fill up whatever somebody wants and whatever they define it as for them. Is this making sense to you? I mean, it's amazing. You can make a little, you can make a lot, you can make a fortune. So it takes on the form of the vessel that it's in. And you program your mind to decide what it is. You see? How big can you think? Okay, so next thing. Positive mental attitude, vehicle. You got both of them. Sam, you got them both. Eisner, you got them both. Tom, you got them both. You have both the PMAE and the vehicle. So now, you're way ahead of the game. The next thing you have to do is determine what you really want. I need this to program the brain. Now, I know you want the business to work, you want to make money and all that, but we got to get specific. We got to get specific in order to program it. Okay? So that's another reason for doing this tonight. So I try to go through what I call the what if exercise. I don't know how many of you have done this. You know, what if money was not an issue? You could get anything. You had unlimited funding. The genie dropped out of the sky. You had to put in an order, and if you didn't put the order in by the next day, you got nothing. What would you order? How many people are drawing a blank? You're kind of like, I'm not sure. See? I'm asking you that. You don't need to answer out loud because I don't want to put you on the spot. But most people draw a blank or they don't know. Or they need to think about it. Okay, that's great. Think about it. That's a great idea. Think about it. Think about it tonight. Think about it tomorrow on the way home. Think about it, 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 think about it. What do you really want? Because you can get it. And we can guarantee it. Because you got PMAE, a vehicle, and we're going to program your brain. You know, so out of that, it helps you get your why. The what if dream is not necessarily your why. The why is the cause behind it, the purpose behind it, the thing you love about it, the thing that makes you get up in the morning. You follow me? But if you don't do that, you're probably not going to find the why. So that then starts to form your identity. And that is a dangerous thing. So you're not going to ever stop smoking if you're a smoker, because as long as you're stopping smoking, you're a smoker. You have to become a non-smoker. You know the story about the scorpion, that the frog begged for him to take him across the river to his family that was waiting for him, because there was no way to get there. And he said, I will never sting you, I promise, Froggy. My family's over there. I need you. You know? And if I did, I would drown. And so the frog said, okay, I'm going to trust you. And he got on his back and went across the river and got almost to the shore, and the scorpion started to sting him. He said, why did you do that? We're almost there. I'm going to die. And you're not going to get to see your family. He says, because I'm a scorpion, and that's what scorpions do. Right? You have to change your identity. I stole that from Tony Robbins. I'll just give him credit. It's a good one. Where am I here? Identity. Identity is like this. When you get up in the morning, you are a director. You talk like a director, you act like a director, you do like a director, you get in front of the room like a director. You do everything a director does all the time. And you have gone berserk for 90 days with the business because you've got to hit the next pin level. And you're leading the goose procession. You're at the top of the V. And it's everything. That's who you are. You want to be successful at this? You got to be a Market America director in your mind, and that you act like that, you talk like that, and the volume catches up. And the people catch up. Is this making sense to you? You know. That's why I tell you to set the clock back. I'm not there yet. You got to set the clock back. It's a stopwatch. You ain't been in for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. You're a liar. You know? Set it back to the real thing and start over with a stopwatch. Just time, how much time it takes to build another leg, to build 2 legs, to hit another level. I'm going to create a new pin level. You know, a new pin level. Because some of the greatest winners in the world didn't win all the time. You take somebody like Lennox Lewis. He got beat 3 times. But to me, he's the greatest heavyweight ever because he avenged all 3 of them. Which is better, undefeated or that? I don't know. Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, but he only ran it under 4 minutes 4 times in his life. And he went down, but he went back. I think winning the title, winning the income back, because, you know, when you run the 4-minute mile, that means you can do it, but you don't do it every day. So if somebody slipped, which everybody does, just to set the record straight, including me, I had my best month. That's not every month. Somebody that regains it, that is a bigger pin level than hitting it once. And we're going to make heroes out of you. Those are the real winners, right? You agree with that? How many people like that? Okay. So the what if exercise. It's really, really important, guys. What is your desire, your mission, your why, your plan, your dream, your wish? Can you tell me right now? I'm going to put, this is a little litmus paper test. That says that your computer is not programmed. I'm going to try to program it some, but that tells you something. So what if time was not an issue? You know, what would I do with the rest of my life? What if you didn't have to work? What would you be doing? You know, what if you were an executive director making $27,000 a month? What if? What would life be like? What would you do? So visualize your custom-made life. Custom-made life. Visualize it in the present tense. Feel it. Focus on the details. And if you can feel it and accept it, it's going to happen. And your subconscious doesn't know the difference. That's the thing. Doesn't know why are you where you are now? Because your subconscious has been programmed with a what if that's pretty low. Can you laugh at that? I mean, come on, let's loosen up. It's funny. I got what I got because I didn't think it. Okay, so this is governed by the laws of the universe. I got to go back one. Napoleon Hill said, anything that the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That's actually God's law. That's the way it was made. He gave us the power to create. But if you don't think anything, conceive anything, I know it's easier to conceive than to deliver, right, ladies? And a lot of people have a lot of harebrained ideas that they conceive, but they won't do anything about it. But you have a plan, right? We don't have that problem. So what is it that you are going to conceive in your brain and believe so that it is delivered, achieved? You don't have anything, you're not going to get it. The concept is governed by the law of the universe. Nightingale, you know the story about this, right? This has been going on for, what is this, 87? How many years ago is that? In the newspaper about this idea that's now a reality. You see that? How long can you hold on to your dream? It materialized, guys. You know, as crazy as it was. So when I was 21 years old, a guy sold me a tape called The Strangest Secret for $6. I didn't have the $6, but I reached in and, you know. And the tape went on and 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 on about the strangest secret. It finally got to the climax. The strangest secret was we become what we think about all the time. I said, how could that possibly be true? I'd be a girl. Now, if you dig a little deeper, your predominant thinking attracts what you want. I didn't really want to be a girl. I like girls. Pretty ones that are smart. And so I guess it is true. I attracted Lauren. Manifested Lauren. You know. Okay, so you have a choice of what goes into your brain. You know, now think about this. Life can only be understood looking backwards. You think the Google guys, when they started, knew how they were going to get there? You think Steve Jobs knew how he was going to make the iPhone work? But he had the concept. You see, they didn't know. Only after they did it could they look backwards and explain how it happened. So you don't need to know how it's going to happen. If you really want it, and it's a concept that makes logical sense, it doesn't even need to make logical sense, but if it's in line with reality, but it just doesn't exist, everything will come. That's the bottom line. So I could go on and on and on about this, but Elizabeth Weber, you're an example of it. My point is that people end up where they are in life because of what they think. And so what are you thinking? You need a dream board. You need an exercise. Dream boards helps this process. I suggest that you do it. Get your group, come back. We did it. We did it here several years ago. We're going to do it again next convention. Everybody bring their dream board. Have a contest, rewards. But everything on that dream board 10 years ago came true, right, Lauren? We didn't know how we were going to get it. We couldn't afford it at the time. Here's our last dream board. I didn't realize it, but she went and looked at this house and put it on it. This is how powerful this is when your brain is programmed and you believe and have experience. When you have experienced something, you look at it in a different way of being possible. Would you agree with that? So she knew it was possible. The thing cost $40 million. I didn't have that. But the guy had a problem. He was a hedge funder. He looked me up because he heard that she looked at the house. I didn't know she looked at it. Got a big tax refund check, sold a property in Puerto Rico, and all of a sudden the price came, everything came together, and for her birthday, it became a reality. I mean, just like that, right, Lauren? So, I mean, and that even blew me away. I said, expect it and be grateful. Because when you know that the law works and you expect it and you're grateful, it'll happen. And it did happen. So there's a dream board, everything on it, $1 billion enterprise, state, all these things happen. We put it on it. If we didn't think them, you think they would have just dropped out of the sky? You know, and so we got everybody to do it. And a lot of the people in here experience the same thing. So why wouldn't you do it? How many people are going to do it? Get your group to do it. Get the geese procession to do it. You know, all types of cool things here. You might see yours up here. You know, we have one here, don't we? On display somewhere. So, you know, make a dream board. We write it down, the goals. We determine the local, and here's our dream board from last night. She snuck this picture on it, and by golly, it manifested. You know, unbelievable. So you break it down. You think. You start to write stuff down. You start to break down the cost. Maybe it takes 10 years. You might get it in 5. Don't let your thinking be limited by money, because things will happen to create the income. Are you hearing this? Oh, God. Okay. I'm prepping the brain for surgery right now. We need the what is exercise. We need the dream boards. And then we need the goal statement. Here's another one. This boat was impossible. I'm not even going to explain to you everything that happened. Lauren made the deal. But it was impossible to happen, and it happened. Okay? So everything we put up, if we visualize it and feel it, things start to happen in the ethers to make them happen. Are you getting this? Do you want that to happen to you? Well, you'll never know if you don't try it. I want to hear you up here saying, I'm amazed. I did it and it happened. So, pretty cool. Dream, 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 dream. God gave you a brain that makes dreams happen. I love this one because it's in the clouds. I don't even know who it is, you know? Okay, so next thing is you figure out what you want, right? You do a dream board, you do the what if, you get your identity, you write down your goals. You didn't do that. Or maybe you did it a little bit. Now you got to get serious about it. Program the billion-dollar brain. You don't know if it'll work. I'm telling you it does. You don't believe me, do you? But if you don't try it, you'll never know. Take action. The first action is to think. The difference between people's lives turns out as a result of thinking. What you have, what I have, what the next person has is because their thinking is different than each other. What are you going to think? In a billionth of a volt, you know, Princeton University had a research department that measured what it took to change your mind or to make up your mind. 1 billionth of a volt in your cerebral cortex, snap, can change everything. It's a universal law. I know that you think it's hocus pocus. You know what Napoleon had said. Anything the man of mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. You know, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, today's a gift of God. But think about this. If you are thinking these things, you're conceiving, and it will come true. Every company that was ever made, what's going on here? You're going backwards. You can argue with the rest of the night that you're wrong and can't do it, okay? You can be brainwashed, which is a metaphor, because you didn't program your brain. You don't program your brain, okay? Somebody else is brainwashing you. We're all brainwashed to be exactly what we are. You don't believe it? I can tell you, you can make $1 million next year. Rick, you can make $2 million a year within 10 years. I can show you how. Right away, he's arguing, how's that going to happen? I got to do this. It's just natural. So if I tell you you can do something that you haven't done and you don't know how to do it, you're brainwashed and will argue with me either mentally or verbally for the rest of the night. And you don't believe it. Isn't that true? So we're all brainwashed to be exactly what we are right now. So brainwash yourself to be what you want. It's the same thing, but a lot better. Oh, man. Some people can't change because they're so full of excuses. I mean, get rid of them. I was going to go through them, but I'm running. I've got to hurry up here. You're stuck on the hamster wheel. Now, my wife is negative. Your wife is not negative. She's positive that you've been a fool your whole life. Simply change it, you know? Well, 75% of the people never do this. People end up where they are because they're too busy and they get distracted. So you hear all this, boom, we get you to have a billionth of a volt go off in your brain and you want to do it. And you know what happens? You get distracted. That's why you say, oh, I did that for a while and it didn't work. You get distracted. You're not organized in your thinking. Your thinking and brain and consciousness is not organized. There's all types of stuff happening to you. Anybody identify with this? I've been through it. You've got to sort it out, prioritize, organize your thinking. Do you hear me? A disorganized brain is difficult to program. Okay, so change your thinking. Think the same way, you get the same result. Do the same thing, nothing will change. Figure out who you are. Who are you? You know, when I meet with, a lot of times Lauren and I meet some pretty interesting people. So one of my favorite things, this is a great recruiting technique, by the way, to develop the conversation like I was talking about yesterday without trying to get them in. The first thing that I ask them is, well, Joseph, what's your passion? What's your passion? Because everybody is about something, right? And of course, I'm trying to find out if they have a passion or they just do something. What is your mission? What do you love to do? It's a great conversation piece, isn't it? And it points it in the right direction. But what's your passion? If I met you today and we had a cup of coffee and I asked you what your passion is, what would you tell me? Well, if you don't know that, your brain isn't programmed. Who are you? What do you want to become? And only you get to decide who you are. Nobody else. But if you don't decide it, you aren't anybody. Is this making sense to you? Am I wasting your time? So instead of thinking so much about what we do, which is market America, and how we do it, which you don't really need to think much about, just get the goose procession going. Think about and know why we do it and why you do it. Because then the how and what start working for two reasons. Your behavior changes and you attract what you need. You believe that? The interesting thing about our program is the company's why and your why are exactly the same. You're never going to find that again in your life. Our why is you making it. Your why is making it. What do you say about that? We have no conflict of interest. So this is really important because I discovered in the brain and neurology and brain medicine, there's a part of the brain that they've now discovered and are documenting. The amount of research on it is incredible, called the limbic mind. So when you get a why and have an emotion about what you're doing, it does all types of crazy things. It programs the brain to reach beyond the body. Intuitions, answers, epiphanies. You sense what somebody thinks. You think about somebody and they show up or call. Anybody have any of this happen to them? Okay, so hunches. You actually attract the circumstances to you. Okay, I'm going to explain how in a minute because it's scientific. It's actually for you engineers in there. I know in our Chinese organization we have a lot of smart people and engineers. You need to look this up on the internet. It's incredible, the amount of science on it that we project beyond our brain in the universe. Everything is energy and everything is vibrating. And if you know anything about vibration and resonance, it activates other things of a similar frequency and attracts them to you. So the circumstances are actually created not only by your behavior, but by what you programmed in your vibration as a soul and mind and subconscious and person to get what you want. It's crazy. So you do this. You have your why. It activates in your brain. Actual medical science can prove that there's this part of the brain that gives you intuition, deja vu, all types of interesting things. The brain is so complicated, it's a billion-dollar computer. And all you have to do is feed it and it starts doing amazing things. I got to get you to do this because you've worked hard. You know the business. You like it. You haven't been a goose yet. You were a chicken, but now you're a goose. I have to have you get results. I have to load the deck of cards with God's hand behind you. So here is the rule of the world, the universe. It's called the creative cycle. Okay, you get an idea, a thought, a dream. It either disappears or stays, right? If you visualize, focus, and concentrate on it, it becomes a belief. There's a difference between an idea and a belief, right? A thought and a belief. You agree with that? Now, if you want it, so you have the ability to choose. Animals don't. You choose that thought, that idea. You like it. Only you can do that. You can't do anything if you don't think. So you choose that, and you want that, and you study it and massage it, you keep thinking about it, you come to believe it. And then you commit as if, I want to be a field vice president. Okay, figure it out. You really want to be one? Start acting as if. When your subconscious and conscious mind accept it as done. You know that feeling? You know when you knew you were going to hit it? It was impossible not to hit it. You guys understand what I'm saying? So anything the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. It doesn't say if the circumstances are right. The circumstances are now created. It will happen. Only way it won't is if you refuse to demonstrate it, because you're already, you can't help yourself. You're demonstrating it, and the circumstances are there. It's going to be a reality. Are you listening to me? And that creates manifestation. Do you get this? It materializes. I don't care what it is. You want to be a field vice president? Really? You program your brain to be it, it'll happen. You have the why, it goes into the brain, your behavior changes, and the brain starts to work beyond your body, okay? Your identity is helping causes happen. You have to have a 2 to 3 year plan mentality. You have to have a field vice president mentality. And so thinking leads one to determine their why, what they want, their identity, and they program it. It creates their beliefs. Their beliefs create their attitudes. Their attitudes creates their feelings. You don't feel like doing it. You don't feel like showing the plan. You're not going to do it, right? Well, that comes from your beliefs. So, you know, the beliefs create the attitude. The attitude creates the feeling. I feel like doing it. That determines your actions. And your actions determine your results. How did it happen? You programmed your brain. So it becomes your mental identity, becomes your behavioral DNA. Your behavioral DNA. You cannot change your behavior by wanting to. I want to stop. I want to show the plan. I want to be a goose. I want to have a goose. You have got to change your identity, and your behavior will follow it. Is this helping? Do you believe me? So you have to make a conscious decision. Make up your mind. I mean, come on, guys. You can do this. You love your job. Don't settle for your job if you love your job, if it won't give you your dream. Make it an avocation because you make so much money. You know, a lot of you work as hard as you do at your job as you did at the business. You would be fired, but you wouldn't need your job. If you worked 1/2 as hard at the business as you did your job, you would never need a job. You realize that? If you want the job, make it an avocation. So we need a goal statement because we need a roadmap. So we get the goal statement, guys, and now you don't have to jump to the top of the stairs. You know the goal that's up there? It looks too far away, doesn't it? You have to break it down to what you have to do each day, each week, and each month. And then it just all adds up. And then it comes down to discipline. 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 I'm going to do that daily thing. Why? Because it's my why. It's my dream. You're motivated. And we simply break it down. Can you do that? Now, if you don't break it down, there's going to be program gaps. You follow what I'm saying? The program needs to be adjusted. You're getting bugs in it. So we need to dispel a myth right now. These people up here that made it, I know that you think that they are incredible, that they're like superheroes. To go field vice president, you know, but where is that? Okay. Can I jump to the top of the stairs, please? One more time. You think that's how they got there. They just got there. And they're superhuman beings. You're superhumans.
Wow. I'm a field vice president.
Now, come on, guys. Doesn't it seem like your leaders that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year are superhumans and jump to the top? That they're more talented than you, more motivated? True or false? Oh, yeah, come on. You're superheroes. Because they look at you and they think you must have been born that way. You must be special. You must be driven to a point and talented that it happened. But I'm going to tell you something. I know them. They're not that good. They found the stairway. They found the stairway and went up it. And when you do the stairway as a team, listen to this.
1 week at a time and got in position to accomplish a weekly by doing the daily. So it just all adds up. We're making it, you know? We're making it to the top. And we all make it. We have now made executive director in 1 year.
Now, notice something. When you're leading people up the stairs, something happens halfway up. You get stuck on the stairs. You can't get off of it. And they get stuck on it. And when you do something as a team, it's easier to take the steps because you don't get distracted. Things don't get in the way because you made the appointment. You're doing it together. So there's an awful lot to be said for breaking it down, building the stairs so that your brain knows, yeah, I can do that daily task. And if I do it with somebody else, it's almost positive. So 5 days, 7 days makes a week. I hit the weekly goal. If you don't do that, you get to the end of the week and you don't hit it. The week went by. Where did it go? Is this making sense to you? Okay. So doing it with a team makes a big difference. So what do you want? What's your goal? If it's really a goal, break it down. Do the goal statement. People have to have a goal statement when they're working with me. Then we figure out their actual plan of action. Now, if you listen to audios every day, you're programming your mind with positive. Every single day. For 30 years, I've listened to an audio. Okay? I'm pretty strong mentally. But it's only because I like hunger for it. I also am stealing information. I might hear something good that I can use. Okay, so here's the billion-dollar brain. I want to show you around. I told you some of the things you got to do. Right now, it's not working for you. It's just getting you by, eating, going to work, coming home. It's not really producing any miraculous results. But it's designed to do that. It's designed to give you anything you want. So that when you work hard and make progress, the circumstances come to you to experience incredible, miraculous success. If I can get you to do it, you might think bigger. What a great experiment to think beyond what you ever thought before and then see it happen. See, the only reason you don't do that, you don't know how you're going to get there. You will do the work, but when you do the work and it doesn't happen, you give up. You see, you didn't program the brain. You program the brain and it happens. You have experienced it. You are now dangerous. I know, Elizabeth, you know what I'm talking about a little bit. Because when it does happen and you make up your mind, it's done. I don't know where this is in the presentation, but I'm going to do it right now before I go program the brain. Every religion of the world, metaphysics, science, all agree on one thing. And that is the law of the universe. God created man in his own image and gave him dominion over the earth. What does that mean? It means that he gave man the ability to think, intelligence. He gave man the right to choose. Animals don't have that. And most importantly, in God's image, the ability to create. Now, that's your gift. That billion-dollar computer is how he did it. And you think it's just a brain that sits in your head and thinks and gets you through the day, when really it has the power to create and is tied to the universe to attract whatever you need. You don't even know that God gave you a billion-dollar computer because it's shut off. And so, you ever hear somebody say, I made up my mind, I changed my mind, I'm mindful of that. Your mind is the result of the activity of your brain, okay? The mind is not an anatomical structure, but it's an activity or a process. But you got the starting switch. You can choose and decide to think things. You understand this? But you don't do it. I know I'm beating this to death, but here it is. Okay? I don't know why that's in there. You don't see the slide I see. It's not the right one. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take you through, like you go to buy a car or something, they take you on a tour through it, right? Let me give you a tour of the $6 billion brain that God gave you to exercise the right and the privilege of being a human being that he created to create, decide, or choose, and think. And you haven't turned it on yet. Okay, now I know James Quell, you turned it on some. But you could turn it on a little higher. You guys follow this? Okay, so let's go through it. I don't know where I put my cards, but oh, there they are. Okay, so here it is, the $6 billion computer. The first feature, okay, give me the first feature here. Where is it? You guys going to help me out? Okay. Whoops. Keyboard. The keyboard of the brain programs it from anything that you say to yourself, you hear, or read. Who chooses what that is? So, what are you programming every day into your brain? Okay? You have a choice to program the right stuff, and it'll have an amazing effect. Like your goal statement, like your dream board. Okay, so the next one is your mind's eye. Your mind's eye in yoga, we call it the third eye. But in your mind's eye, right here, you visualize the result that you want. Now, your subconscious and your brain doesn't know that it's not real, but you're programming it in, just like a computer. Can you do that? Make it a fun thing. Make it, I'm going to see if JR's right or not. Okay? So I visualize in my mind's eye as if it was already done. It's like conscious, intentional daydreaming. Is there anything wrong with that? But your brain, your subconscious doesn't know the difference. Okay, so that mind's eye can start to change the vibration and frequency of your consciousness and subconsciousness and your being. And it's going to resonate in the universe to activate different things to start happening of the same frequency. This is physics. And if you don't believe me, go on Google and look up the law of attraction, vibration, resonance of the human being and see what you find out. Everything is energy, even solid masses like our bodies. They're made up of atoms. Those atoms store such energy potential that if you split it, it would explode. Right? And they're vibrating at all different frequencies. You realize how much is going on right around you invisibly that you can't see right now? Right now, if we could picture it, this place you could hardly see. I mean, waves, the invisible world, waves and signals are vibrating. Sound waves, cell phone waves, internet, Wi-Fi signal waves, electromagnetic waves, brain thought waves, human aura vibration, X-rays, microwaves, sound waves, music sound waves, TV signals and waves, radio signal waves. Do you agree that all those things exist? All over the place. And you're vibrating. You're sending out, they actually can picture it, they can measure it with meters. So this is not hallucination. This is reality. It's physics. So your mind's eye. The magnet. When you begin to polarize yourself with a Y, and the limbic brain starts to take over, you polarize yourself, you magnetize yourself to a frequency vibration of what you want. Have you ever felt somebody's energy? Have you ever felt negative energy versus positive energy? Do you believe that it exists? So you can actually program your brain and it'll start sending this out without you even knowing it. The reason a lot of bad crap happened to you is the same reason that a lot of good crap could happen to you. I know it because it happened to me. Okay? Oh, I got to convince you. The antenna radar. Did you ever get epiphanies? Did you ever get hunches? Did you ever get an alarm go off? You have an antenna radar in your brain that picks up vibrations, that picks up what's going on. Did you ever sense something? Okay, you've all experienced some of these things, but when you program your brain towards a specific desire, all of these things start working to bring it to you. Can you believe that? Wow. What's the next one? Alarm. You sense that something's going to go wrong, or you sense that there's an opportunity. Did that ever happen to you? You wake up in the middle of the night? Okay? So we can use our alarm to tell us that there's opportunity or there's things that could get in the way. Alerts. Somebody stole my people. I told them to change that. But that's a good alarm to have, right? Somebody's having a problem. You ever sense that? You ever sense that you had to talk to somebody and they ended up calling you? Okay, so alert signals. Okay, alert signals can be positive. An alert signal that I should talk to that person. And you do, and they're looking for exactly what we got. You having fun? Okay. The light bulb. The light bulb goes off. Epiphanies, idea. Did you ever struggle over figuring out how to solve something like the seating at the Taiwan convention? And having groups, and all of a sudden, poof, the idea came to you. Poof. That's what I'm talking about. Do you doubt this? That billion-dollar computer will start doing all of this. You've experienced them once or twice. All the time to get you your goal. The light bulb, the epiphany, the great idea. After a while, I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but all day long, your brain just starts thinking about a way to do something. And it's logical, and you're writing it down, and it leads to more. The billionth of a volt, boom, that's where you decide something. I'm not doing it that way anymore. I'm doing it this way. Changes everything. But you couldn't do that before. You couldn't make that decision before. Wow. Why am I so passionate about this? Because it changed my life. It happened to me. I shouldn't be here. You see? Okay. Sparks, epiphany. You get like these zap sparks. It's not the answer, but it's the clue. And you get on it, and it all starts to happen. How many people know what I'm talking about? What if it happened every day, all the time? Okay. Fireworks. You just saw what happened with the IBV and the SABV product, Super BV. Fireworks should start sparking. Holy moly. I'm going to tell my group about that. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, so this is your your $1 billion brain. I want to charge you $6 billion for it. And you know what? Honestly, 100 million years to create, it's worth at least $1 billion. And you got one. God gave you one. You don't value it. You're taking it for granted right now. So we inserted ROM chips into the brain and programs that run silently below the main program, the thinking, all the time. Do you understand what I'm talking about? And it greatly increases the result that you want. And that ROM chip is like the why, the goal statement. Because when the conscious mind and the subconscious mind can connect, okay, and agree, it already happens. Because there's always an argument that goes on in your head. So your old brain was frozen. And we got a new brain that's constantly working to get what you want. Now, I want to tell you about neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity. Go look it up on Google. You educated people, you need to look it up. There's an old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Totally false. It is proven scientifically beyond any reason of doubt that the brain actually builds new circuits when we program it to do things that we really want to do. And erases or dissolves, I'm talking about neurons, ganglia, dendrons. It builds a whole new circuitry so that you can do something well that you really want to do, that you start doing. Like prospecting, qualifying. I just dazzle them. I don't even know where it comes from. But my brain's programming has got circuits. You know, it's like learning something new, tying your shoe. When you first tied it, it took weeks of your parents showing you how. But now you don't even need to think. It's like skiing, riding a bicycle, playing the piano. After a while, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to try. How does that happen? It builds a new wiring system to do it automatically, hardwires it. Do you understand what I'm telling you about this thing that you got in your head? Oh, man, it's just absolutely amazing. So the ROM chip we put in there, we snuck it in there. Why did I get you to make this goal statement? Why did I beat you up about that? Because I know when that goes into your brain and you read it every day, you have a computer that is now designed to do a specific thing rather than being general. And it's running all the time. It doesn't let you get off course. You understand that? Okay. I didn't know I had all these other things in here. Neither did you. And you know what? When you have that, it's like a compass. It always keeps you on track. So the brain's always working to get you on track. You know how like you feel bad about doing certain things and good about other things? All of a sudden, you start feeling bad about not doing the plan, not doing your 2 per week evaluation approaches. You won't be happy if you don't do them. You got to do them. Now, here's the funny thing about this. Projection and telekinesis. You can move other people's minds by the power of your brain. When I really believe in Elizabeth, I really believe in Pam, and they know it, they can feel it. Even when I'm not there, they know it. It affects their thinking. So your brain waves, they actually proved. I can show you the scientific papers. I'm really into this stuff. Because I'm so amazed by it, I want to be able to prove it. So, scientific papers of thought transference. So now I'm going to start practicing that. I'm going to make Rick think that he's going to be a senior field vice president. Are you getting this? It's not hocus pocus, folks. Euphoria. What I mean by euphoria is you feel so good about the business. You know, like when you don't feel like doing it, you feel so good, you're happy, and you're confident, and you're energetic. You just can't sit still. These are the things that happen with this brain. So, thinking thoughts, focused thinking, what if, the dream, the goal statement, listening to audios. Now, when a negative thought comes into your mind, or you say something from your old subconscious, like, oh, God, I'm not going to be able to show the plan enough this week. You have to delete it by saying, cancel. Because sometimes thoughts will come into your mind from the old mind. When they come in, beat them with a baseball club. Cancel. I'm going to tell you something. It really works. We have a rule in our house. Anybody that says something negative, and we don't like the way that would be as a result, oh, I think I'm going to get sick. Cancel. Okay? Programming the brain. Visualization. Identity. Put the wrong chip in. The why. Wrong chip in the limbic brain. Goal statement. Daily and weekly breakdown. Programmed into the brain. Self-talk. I'm a field vice president. The people are coming to me immediately. I dazzle them with the greatest opportunity in the world and help them get rich. I mean, things like that. Affirmations. Cancel and delete anything negative. And then if you can, and you see logically how it can happen, try to put yourself in the moment as if it actually happened and attach emotion to it. When you do that, the law of attraction, the vibration, amplifies. I know you don't believe me, but if you can get to that point and try it and something happens, you might believe me. The people come out of the woodwork. People knock at your door. So, ask and you shall receive. Well, how does it go? Ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For all things are possible to he who believes. So it's done. Now, if it's done because God said it's done, and you thought it and used the computer, who are you to doubt it? So if it is done, I should feel grateful. I should feel gratitude. I should feel
peace. Try it. I'm not trying to do religion here, but the reason Jesus could walk on water is because he accepted it. Of course, he knew he was God. But if he doubted it, he couldn't have done it in the human body. It's the law of the universe. So at any rate, I'm trying to prove it to you. I want to keep working on this, meeting after meeting, giving you more scientific evidence. I want to show it to you in experience. I want to convince my geese that they are great. So use a creative brain power and visualize to set off the billionth of a volt, creating a magic moment that I talk about. If you have one magic moment and one magic experience, you're going to be dangerous. But I got to get you to do it, to experience it, So it's later than you think, guys. We have to brainwash ourselves fast because we don't want to end up there. Right? So just let me show you one more thing about this, and I'll move on to come in for a landing with something really nice. Okay, so can I get to that? There we go. I want you to understand this intellectually, logically, and I want you to try it so that you'll start to believe it emotionally. Now, I know that you don't believe it totally right now, but what do you have to lose? Come on, guys. We got the PMAE, we have the vehicle, you're sitting in this chair, you've taken action, try it. Will you do that for me? And write me if it starts to work. Okay, so look, idea, thought, dream. This is how it happens. And this is why you are where you are right now, but it's also why you could be a field vice president, a director, or have your dream, or do whatever you want. Same reason. You proved that it worked because that's why you are where you are. Now let's change it so that you get what you want, and you determined what you want. Remember that part of this? Thought, idea, visualize, focus, concentrate. It starts to form a belief. If you believe, commit as if it was done. So who are you? I'm a field vice president, and you act like one all the time. Put your dreams, your goals, and your success down there. When you accept it, you're dangerous. And all you have to do is demonstrate. Now, you'd have to work not to do, like in other words, if you have a bunch of people growing and getting into business, they want to have a meeting, you're all excited about it and want to do it. You'd have to force yourself not to do it. So that would take away the demonstration to prevent the manifestation. But that's not going to happen because that's not what you want. Everybody got this? So, dreams turn into goals. How does that happen? I showed you, right? You break it down. You crystallize it. You think. If you don't think, you won't get. You'll get what you didn't think about, which is a bunch of crap that's all around you. Right? Second, visualize. Once you think and get what you want, visualize it. 3, break it down, steps, dates, strategies, to-do list, because now you're getting the conscious brain to get a little muscle to fight the old negative stuff that might still be in your subconscious, because there's that argument that goes on. So you think a thought, an idea, a dream, you think it, I decide I want it. Okay? I visualize it, I act on it, I define it, I have a snapshot into my mind, indelibly impressed on my cerebral cortex, which sinks down into my subconscious, and the creative cycle program starts to take over. You do the what-if exercise so that you have that. Okay? That starts to form your identity. I'm a field vice president. And you act like one and you do what one does all the time. This is you sitting in that seat that this can happen to as a goose. I'm worked up. Self-talk, self-talk. I got to tell you a secret. People that do not talk to themselves are crazy and unsuccessful. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. And when you talk to yourself and say something negative, cancel it. I push the wrong button sometimes. That keyboard, it's just like a computer. What you're reading, what you're listening to, what you're watching, and especially what you're saying to yourself is being inputted into the brain. And the conscious brain isn't going to reject it, but it goes into the subconscious brain. Now you got bugs and viruses and crap in your system. You follow me? Okay, so get that logic, get that goal statement, get that plan, okay? And the creative cycle takes over. You see how it's working in your brain, but in the universe, it's working in the creative cycle. You get that drawing? Huh? And you got that plan, you're programming the brain. Okay? So acceptance is the key. So when we do this and we accept, we can walk on water. You understand? You can do the unbelievable things, but you have to be able to accept it. To do that, it was good to give the conscious brain a training so that it doesn't fight the subconscious brain. Acceptance is when the subconscious program and the conscious mind accepts it as well, and it takes over. So now, Mr. Negative that's down in there can't win the argument. Okay? So it needs the logic. It needs the logic to fight the argument. Okay, so now, whoops, what do you do with that last one? The tuning fork. So, you know about tuning forks? They vibrate and they send out a wave at a frequency. When it finds another tuning fork of the same frequency, without touching it, it causes it to vibrate. If I had 2 up here, that would happen. If I had 4, all 4 would do it. If you all had one in the front row, they would all start to vibrate. I was going to do this. The thing is, it costs $100,000 to bring them in to give everyone one. But what would happen is it would start vibrating all of them. You're attracting people like you in the universe. And if everybody had one in here, the building would shake. Now, you don't believe me? Look it up on the internet and look at the science, the physics. The law of vibration, the law of attraction, the frequency will cause other frequencies of the same frequency to vibrate too, and then they resonate. That's how you do it. That's how God created it. That's the law of the universe. Where am I? So, I know what happens. You say, okay, I did that once. I did it for a month. Well, you got to do it for at least 3 months. And then if it works, 6 months. If it doesn't work in 3 months and you really did it and weren't distracting, organized your brain, did everything that I showed you, come to me. You'll be excused. God gave you a flawed brain. But here's what happens. You say, I did that, and stuff happened, and my goal, my dream didn't happen. How many people know what I'm talking about? It's happened to you before. You know people that it happens to. Well, let me show you why that's not true. Right? For instance, the shopping annuity is a perfect idea. It will manifest and change the world, but it's been an uphill battle. Now, it's all coming together. I could have given up. I had a lot of reason to give up. It was hard to figure it out. We still are doing it. Same thing with going to the moon, same thing with winning the Olympics, same thing with Google, with the iPhone. I mean, it's just, you know, you don't need to know how to do it, but it doesn't happen with the click of your fingers to bring it into creation. Is this making sense? Okay, so watch, here's you, and you now have inertia. You're stuck. Things at rest stay at rest. Things in motion tend to stay in motion. So you got to get moving. You hear that, right? Okay? So when I set the goal and the dream and the why, I think I'm going to go straight to it. Right? But sometimes it doesn't happen that way. And the reason is that it wouldn't have worked because something wasn't right between you and the goal in reality. When it came to reality, you find out, oh, this is not what I wanted. You guys with me on this? Let me show you what happens, how perfect God created the universe, how perfect the creative cycle is, how perfect your brain is. Watch. So you get started, all excited, pow, a crisis, a disappointment, a frustration comes up. Something happens in your group. Oh no! You know what I mean, right? Okay. So it sets you back. So you have to go around and you get started again. And then you run into a brick wall. Somebody stole your identity. You can't use your credit card. Something bad happens. You understand what I'm saying? Stuff happens. But you're sending out this vibration and you're dead set on your goal. You have not changed. So what happens is you have to move. And but the brain and the compass starts to make you move towards the goal again. You don't give up the goal, the dream, the passion, your identity, your why. That's you, right? So here we go. Oh, now I get into a detour. And all of a sudden, the goal changes a little bit because it wasn't in line with reality to work. The way it was, it wouldn't work, and you would not feel happy about it. You ever end up getting something and you ended up thinking, this isn't really what I expected or wanted? So it changes it for the essence of it, the essence of what your emotion and love is. You with me on this? So here you go. You ended up, whoops, come back. You ended up getting it, but you went in the back door. And it changed a little bit. But you were led to it, even though there was detours and you didn't go straight to it, in order for it to become a reality. The world has unlimited possibilities in its vibrations, which create the situations and circumstances. And if you had gone the route that your single conscious mind thought to go, you would never have gotten there. But you did get there because the law of creation always works. There you are. Does that make sense to you? Next one. You have a goal, a dream. You do all the stuff that I've been talking about. The goal statement, the why, the identity. And you're ready. You got a blueprint for success, a plan. And you start. You press it upon the universe. And it's out there in the vibration. And you're about ready to move into it and have it materialize. Okay? Everything happens for a reason. Sometimes the essence of that goal was not exactly the same way it was in your brain. It's better, or it's practical, or it'll last, or it'll work. But you always get what you want, even if you didn't understand what you wanted when you wanted it. Does that make sense to you? Pretty amazing. Okay, so now, whoops, push me back one. What one am I on? There. Okay. I'm coming in for a landing. Here you are, sitting in this seat, and you heard me. You not only heard me, you're going to be a goose and lead a goose procession when you go back and start doing what I'm doing. You, for the first time in your life, realize that God loved you so much, He gave you a $1 billion computer, and you didn't realize that the law of the universe guarantees that you'll get what you program. And you're going to start programming it. So you're doing all 6 things. PMAE, you got the vehicle, you decided what you want, you took action. You're playing well. There's one more thing. One more thing. Time. Time. You're doing everything right. You're perfect. You're programmed and on your way to being a hopeless success. You can't even do anything about it. You're set in motion to carry in motion. But it depends on time. You can't make more than 24 hours a day, and something's eating up the time. So you don't pay enough attention time-wise to your goals, to your dreams. Not by intention, but by reality. The kids, the stuff that breaks, the problems, the unexpected crises. It just consumes the day. It did it yesterday. It was not going to happen tomorrow. It happens tomorrow. Who knows what I'm talking about? Okay. That's going to happen. You don't want to get all 6 things and be right on course for a materialization and a miracle in your life and have it sabotaged by time. There's a trick. There's a trick. And Lauren, will you help me show this? Huh? Okay. So, there's only so much time in a day. And we have to do certain things. You got to sleep. You got to eat. Right? You got to go to work. You got to drive. You got to take a shower. You got to socialize some.
We got to do the wrong way video.
Okay.
First.
Well, where is it?
It's ready for you to
Well,
cue
it's
it.
ready. You call
so,
it.
24 hours in a day. How we fill those 24 hours determines the outcome of our lives. That 24 hours is represented by this. Each of us have 24 hours in a day. How we fill those 24 hours determines the outcome of our lives. That 24 hours is represented by this empty jug. And we have essential things that we have to do. We have to sleep, we have to get dressed, we have to groom ourselves, and that's represented by this jug of water of about 8 hours per day. Let's put that in our lives. Now we have to eat, we have to get dressed, we have to get ready and socialize maybe a little with our family, have some leisure time, and that represents about 7 hours a day with this sand. Let's put that in our lives. Now, we have to work, and most of us spend at least 8 hours working, an hour in the commute, if not a lot more, for a total of 9 hours, and that's represented by these pebbles. Let's put the work in our lives. And it's even hard to get the work in our lives. As you can see, most of us fill up our entire lives with the essential things, leaving no room for our bucket of dreams. Our Market America business does not fit. Traveling does not fit. All the aspirations in our lives do not fit. But there is a better way.
So, that happens, doesn't it? It happens. You did all the things necessary, but the time got eaten up. And of course, we know that eventually we're going to end up in that box, and we can't let that happen. So there's a trick to not letting it happen. Watch this.
This is
Am I?
more grandchildren.
What are you doing?
More grandchildren.
These are our whys.
More
These
directors.
are our whys and our dreams and our goals.
More directors.
The things she puts on the dream board. The shopping annuity is one of those rocks.
More vacations my husband will take me on. More hugs and kisses, not so much work from my husband. Now, I'm putting my big rocks in first. These are my dreams. Now, this is the work that you have to do every day for somebody else, back and forth, wasting 45 years of your life. So if you put your rocks in first, your dreams in first, you still have time to do the work you have to do for somebody else. And guess what? It all still fits. If you do your dreams first, put your dreams first, you can still fit everything in. If you put your dreams first, you can still work.
Gotta sleep.
Now,
Sleep less.
I don't like
You
to
gotta
sleep a lot, but this is a lot of sleep. For those of you who like to sleep a lot, here we go. You can still sleep a lot and work for somebody else miserably for 45 years. If you just wake up a little bit earlier, like I said this morning, and put yourself first.
Shake your day up.
Put some dreams in first. The dreams coming to the top. Look at that.
Shake the day up. Shake that day up.
Hold on. We're not done yet, Anthony. You see what happened when we took the boxing class last week?
Gotta sleep.
Now, this is what? You're partying? What is this? No, I just did sleep. Okay, getting ready, whatever. Eating, leisure, wasting time with people who don't care about your success.
Brushing your teeth.
Brushing
With
your
MA.
teeth. Please brush
Shopping
your teeth.
annuity toothpaste.
And guess what?
Making
Look,
money.
all of it still fits if you put your dreams
Miracle.
in first.
Miracle. Miracle.
Ah!
What do you think? Magic. Magic.
The video.
The same amount of things in your day all fit into the jar when you put your dreams first and your goals first.
Yeah.
They'll still all fit in, but the other way, you never get your dreams, your goals, and all that stuff that I talked about that you are going to do was going to happen, but you ran out of time. Don't let it happen.
Don't let that happen.
Put your dreams first. Be a goose. How do we do it?
Do I stay there?
Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you something. I love you so much. I wish I could go home with you and do the goose routine, because you would be. But if you do that and put blinders on, if you do that, the 6 things that I showed you, and put the dreams first, the goals first, and put blinders on, blinders, because when you see how far you've gone or haven't gone, it distracts you. The mind plays tricks on you. Put blinders on. Don't let people divert you or distract you.
Put the blinders on. Don't let anyone distract you.
And the second thing is, give it all you got for one time. What do you have to lose? You're 30 years old, 25 years old, 40 years old. You haven't gotten where you want. For once, put blinders on and give it all you got. Remember, you're now programmed to be a hopeless success. The universe will give it to you. You'll do the work. Put blinders on.
Let me ask you a
give
question.
it all you got.
Let me ask you a question really quick. Are you really ready to do this? No, are you really ready to do this, everybody?
It's all heart from here. It's all heart from here.
It's all hard from here.
That was you hitting a pin level, a next level in the end zone. So, will you give me all you got until convention? All you got. All you got. Will you? Well then, who's next?
Who's next?
Who's next?
There's Angie right there. Who's next?
We love you.
We love
We
you
believe
guys.
in you.
We'll see you
Make
in
it happen.
Greensboro.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending Market America's 2019 World Conference. We will see you in Greensboro.